Latest news. Multiple people dead in Orlando.
Let's watch the news.
The gunman in Monday's fatal shooting spree at an Orlando, Florida, business targeted his victims and had a negative relationship with at least one of them, according to law enforcement. Army veteran John Robert Neumann, Jr. killed 5 employees of Fiamma Company. Before killing himself, Orange County Sheriff Jerry Demings said. The company makes accessories for recreational vehicles. Neumann was discharged in 1999. He was fired from Fiamma Company, an awning manufacturing company, back in April. The employee had a criminal history, minor in nature, with arrests for possession of marijuana and DUI. Officers had been called to the company back in June 2014 for a workplace violence incident, in which he allegedly battled another employee, here in the business, Demings said. He added that Neumann had a negative relationship with one of the employees he killed. Neumann crept in through a rear door at Fiamma, authorities said, apparently looking for specific company employees. He at one point encountered a woman, pointed a gun at her, and told her to get out of the building, and the woman told investigators that she was allowed to leave unharmed. Then he allegedly singled out other employees, shooting and killing 5 former colleagues. He stopped at least once to reload. Most of the victims were shot in the head, Orange County Sheriff Jerry L. Demings said, during an afternoon news conference. Some were shot multiple times. When deputies arrived at the scene, they found 4 people dead, 3 men and a woman. A 5th was rushed to a hospital, where he also died, Demings said. The victims were identified by police as Kevin Clark 53, Jeffrey Roberts 57, Robert Snyder 69, Brenda Montanez Crespo 44, and Kevin Lawson 46. According to the Orlando Sentinel, Clark's wife died in 2008 and he leaves behind 2 children, 14 and 18 years old. A witness said, they heard multiple, very loud gunshots, according to Fox 35 Orlando. Demings said most of the victims were shot in the head, and some of them suffered multiple gunshot wounds. Officials believe Neumann was the only gunman and there was no indication he was going to carry out the attack, according to Demings. This violence is frustrating. The FBI was on the scene, assisting local police on the investigation, a spokesperson from the bureau told Fox News. But Demings said, authorities could not connect the incident to any global terrorism. Fiamma did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Florida Governor Rick Scott said in a statement that he has been briefed on the situation. Over the past year, the Orlando community has been challenged, like never before, Scott said. The shooting comes a week before the 1-year anniversary of the Pulse nightclub massacre, also in Orlando, where 49 people were fatally shot by Omar Mateen, an Islamic extremist. News conference.
Is everybody good? Sir, hang on. You're going to have to either kneel down or go to the back, sir. Hang on a second. We need to go. I know. Okay? We need to go. All right.
Thank you for being here. Sheriff Demings will provide you a briefing on the tragedy that has unfolded here this morning. He is accompanied by Mayor Teresa Jacobs, FBI ASAC Ron Hopper, FD SAC Danny Banks, and Fire Chief Otto Drost. Sheriff Demings.
It's a sad day for us here once again in Orange County. I'm going to share some details about a tragedy that occurred this morning at the Fiamma Incorporated business that you see just behind me. our hearts and prayers go out to the families of the victims this morning. I will share more detail about what has occurred. You will be hearing from myself as well as Mayor Jacobs in just a moment. Then she will be followed by a representative from the FBI and the FDLE, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, and the fire chief who responded to this emergency this morning. But let me just share some details with you. At about 8:03 a.m. this morning, we received a 911 emergency call into our communications center about an active shooter situation here at the Fiamma Incorporated business. This is a worldwide business that primarily provides accessories for RVs. At about 8:45 a.m. this morning, we were dispatched here to this call. Deputies arrived on scene just 2 minutes later to the active shooter call for service. Once they arrived here, they found multiple individuals that had been shot. 3 male victims were deceased at that time. 1 female victim was deceased. A 5th person, a male, was transported to the Orlando Regional Medical Center where he subsequently died as a result of his injuries. There were 7 survivors, individuals who were inside this business who are being interviewed presently by detectives from the Orange County Sheriff's Office. We have a 45-year-old subject who is deceased inside as a result of his own means. The individual was armed with a handgun and a knife this morning. There's no indication that he used a knife on any of the victims, but shot 5 innocent people this morning and then turned the gun on himself and killed himself. The individual in question is a former employee of this business. He was fired sometime in April of this year. So he was a disgruntled employee that came back to this business this morning. In terms of our history of this business, we have very few records of any significance here. However, about 3 years ago, in June of 2014, we did respond to this business in which the subject who is responsible for the deaths this morning was the subject of a workplace violence incident in which he allegedly battered another employee here in the business. There were no charges actually of that time. In terms of this subject, this 45-year-old subject, when we look into his criminal history, what we have found is that he has a criminal history minor in nature. Charges such as possession of marijuana, DUI, and misdemeanor battery. At this time, we have no indication that this subject is a member of any subversive type organization. We have no indication that this subject is a participant in any type of terror organization. What this is at this point is likely a workplace violence incident. We will get more into the details of the investigation as it unfolds. At this time, we have designated a reunification location for the family members. What we're asking individuals who may be related to persons who work at this business, we have set up at Full Sail University, which is located at 3535 North Forsyth Road, a family reunification site. Families are able to respond there to a building called the Live One Building, the Live One Building. We have deputy sheriffs who are there who will direct family members to that particular location. We also have a phone number that has been set up for individuals to call should they wish to receive information. The phone number is area code 407-679-0100, extension 3087. And I'll repeat that. Area code 407-679-0100, extension 3087. At this point, we will entertain any questions that you may have, and I will tell you up front that it is our plan to do another press briefing at 1 o'clock, 1 p.m. today, in which at that time we will identify, hopefully we will be able to identify the victims and other individuals that were involved in this incident.
Sheriff, do you know where this happened in this building?
This is, as you can see behind us, it's a fairly sizable business, and the people who came to work this morning were going about their business, but it occurred in multiple different locations there in the business, and the shooter himself actually took his life, and he's actually inside the business as well.
Was this a secure building, or did this man have to follow somebody in to get inside? Did he threaten people to get his way inside? What do you know about
I don't
that?
have all the details at this point how he was able to get into the building. We are interviewing the surviving witnesses at this point, and we'll better understand that and perhaps brief you at 1 p.m.
Were any survivors hurt? Were any survivors shot or hurt? Any survivors shot or hurt?
None of the survivors were shot or hurt.
How many employees were there when all of this was happening? Do you guys know? How many employees total?
There was probably 12 employees that were inside the building at the time.
At this point, do you know if he was shooting at random or going for specific targets?
Again, we're debriefing the eyewitnesses at this point.
Sheriff, just to confirm, there are different victims in different rooms, correct?
We have multiple victims that are still inside, and we're going through that crime scene at this point. Again, once we know more about what is occurring within the crime scene, we will share that information
Sheriff,
with
are you
them.
able to speak to the level of response here? You know, you have multiple agencies, the FBI included, especially the fact that it's 1 week before we mark 1 year since this nightclub massacre, terrorism, of course, being on a lot of people's minds.
Well, we're all on a heightened alert here in our community, as well as across America, across the globe, because of many of the incidents that have now happened in the United Kingdom. So this is one holy period of time during Ramadan in which we within the law enforcement community, both federal, state, and local, have increased our concerns and our response and our analytical capabilities during this period of time. So we cannot, again, connect this incident. It appears that this incident has nothing to do with any global terror activities.
And Sheriff, do you know if the suspect killed the person he was accused of battering back in 2014?
It does not appear at this time, the preliminary information I received is that the person that he battered in June of 2014 or was accused of battering is not one of the victims today.
Sheriff Stemmings, you've laid out that he's had a history. You just spoke about it at this location in 2014. Since he was fired or let go in April of this year, has he made any threats, or did he make any threats to this business or the people in that time period?
We have no reports of any specific threats to members of this business or otherwise. This is an internationally owned business. I'm told that the ownership group, they are Italian. Some of them may live in Italy itself, and then one of the principals, I believe, lives in Boston. So that's the connection. We will not release the name at this time. We're still going through that process of notifying appropriate family members, etc. So at 1 p.m., it will be our goal to release the names of the people involved.
And do you share about the motivation behind this? I mean, you said it's an instance of workplace violence. Can you give any more details about that?
Well, obviously, this individual, the subject that was involved today, the shooter, was carrying a gun and a knife. He had formerly worked here, was fired because of different activities here at this business that I won't get into at this time, but because he came back to this business and shot people who he had formerly worked with, it is akin to a workplace violence situation.
Sheriff,
All right, thank you all very much. 1 o'clock, we'll come back.
Mayor Jacobs, can we get a question with Mayor Jacobs? Mayor Jacobs, can we get a question, please? Just want to know, in the last 1 year ago was the Pulse shooting. A week ago was the incident at the airport. Now we have this. What is happening in Orange County and Orlando that we're seeing this much violence? And what would you say is the mayor is causing this increase, or at least repetitive increase, of mass casualties?
One quick response, and then we're going to break for the water.
I wish I could answer your question with more information than I have. I think you all have witnessed what we've witnessed. Certainly the situation here appears to be very different than the situation at Pulse. Based on all of the intel that's been discovered, we'll wait to hear more from law enforcement if they discover anything. They appear to be two separate issues altogether. I will just say what I said earlier. I would ask our citizens, if you see something that troubles you, if you have a friend, a co-worker who is behaving in a way that concerns you, to please go the extra mile, make the call, have the conversations with law enforcement, let them know of your concerns, and each one of us has to be responsible for our own actions, but we also have to look and be cognizant of what's going on around us. Thank you for your question.
Thank you all.